running a super interesting program there, and she's here visiting, and we were able to hijack her to be part of the conference, so I'm very, very pleased. And she and I had the same professor as my PhD advisor and her master's advisor, and her professor connected us a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Here she is.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. As Meriwether mentioned, I just finished walking the Great Glen Way yesterday, so I thought about putting a picture of that to start, but I couldn't connect my computer to the internet. So imagine hiking before I get started. So I've been able to enjoy a lot of the Scottish countryside and enjoy the country here and see a fair bit of the area. So I'm happy to be here today. I live in Seattle, Washington, and we are located in the Salish Sea. And what I do there is a local marine conservation program just north of the city of Seattle, and that's the Salish Sea. Oh, whoops.
The one on the right.
Oh, so Snohomish County is right about Seattle in Puget Sound. So this is Vancouver, the northern border of the, and this is British Columbia, and then Alaska starts up. So I wanted to know where I am in the world in for folks here who may not be as familiar with the local geography. Puget Sound, Snohomish County is here. Fuca's moving in. Here is a place called Port Sioux. Snohomish County is more urbanized, and so talking about two different projects that were to set the context. The Marine Resources Committee, a group of local who are all collaborating in planning. And so there's 7 of them. Each one of the counties has a board of appointed by local government to coordinate on. As Richard was mentioning in his opportunity for people involved on a larger scale in conservation, and the question of limited is a great one as you bring in conservation at it not from a political perspective necessarily of different sides, but where do we want to live in our future? How do we, what is our role as citizens? How do we, and what we have in Puget Sound is an incredible land set. We have endangered species, we have downtown corridor, but yet they're faced with chemical loading in makes it hard for them to reproduce. So we also have the Chinook salmon is the king salmon in the Pacific where a number of lost. So in looking at this whole situation, be involved and how can we work input in that area. With about 10 years ago, the U.S. federal government wanted to have marine protection, and in place of collaborative citizen in this part of the Pacific place, what they created Straits Initiative, a citizen-driven conservation. Rather than a federal approach where science a series of that the scientists would work together, collaborative approach. So the Resource Committee, the of the Marine Resource Committees, nonprofit also supports. There's a governmental of representatives from around the projects, and so I'd like one of our rural part of the county, the northern, and one of our biodiversity hotspots. Scales up in biodiversity hotspot I'm not prepared to speak on right now. It was the Nature Conservancy in a study northwest, which stretches all the way from Oregon to regional hotspot. I don't have any charts and graphs to compare. You'll have to aerial photo of that Port Susan is an incredible place. There are quite a number of migratory birds that move through. About designated as an international reserve of western moment via plane. You can there's an incredible amount of the Port Susan area here has orca species, forage fish habitat, a lot to protect. There's also an incredible people are trying to bring more local to the stores. We work together with government and citizens to develop a conservation action report developed by the Nature Conservancy and the World Wildlife Fund. What sorts of biodiversity, what are we trying to do? What do we like in the future? What matters to us there? Thing and with a way to move forward. In the world, always have perfect every single thing that we're looking at. We may have science on the which shorebird is using which beach and how. We selected a series of targets for our conservation, and those are shorebirds, which includes crustaceans, which are Dungeness crab, smelt, sand, and 2 habitat types. And gathered up a tremendous amount of data. So the action plan strategy, all the information. For instance, because Chinooks, we have a tremendous knowledge on the life history. They come to what particular stream. So we have a tremendous. So there's an incredible usage of habitat. Been studying it to the detail that we needed. So and rolled that up into a rating for each of those particular. So for instance, you'll see Chinook salmon is, even though in some places it would definitely, we're looking at the marine environment, we're not focused in the upper mountains where there's more habitat stressors. This is where the intersection of science, how do you really take science and say the word good for 3 years. So we got to of threats and targets. So this is threats, and so the planning process works is you take each of three, you can rank them across, create. We get started with what do we, and so your threat is bank hardening, because that is a species. So our marine resources airline armoring, creating bulkheads as one of the things. Future, however, given sea level rise, there are cases where we may need to have create structure. So I'll talk about another my project. But as I mentioned, of a beach bulkhead protecting a house, examples of these around Scotland. But what it can greatly impact the habitat of the forage fish beaches, which then create the food for the orcas, and so at looking for where might be where they're not, they can be removed migration, and then where there aren't, you can look at protection. We're working on a study right now to newspaper article, the a dike breach, the coast here, so that's part of Port Susan. Groups that are all working plan, which gives a framework to do. So there's environmental organizations, they all have agenda to make that effort we're trying to do. If anyone is interested, but on Port Susan airplane, so you can kind of get a sense, access that up the website, but it's Snowco. Take a look at that video. So as I mentioned, in the county is Port Susan, more urbanized landscape. It's end of the developed corridor of Seattle, and there is southern Puget Sound. It's about long. Looking at our system, railroad provides to commerce, our Amtrak, our rail, if you will, for people getting to and from the city, the planes, which are competing with along the. So the railroad is a really important. It's not one that we're going to get soon. So the question, given that the railroad is there anything that we can protecting habitat, but do as far as improving and looking at things? I've worked a long time on along this corridor, so you can see the pedestrian tower. The railroad is people having access over the tracks, and you can walk over to get to the beach. Bulkheads really here for people exploring the beach, our project, what we're doing this bulkhead and beach and doing sediment nourishment at different shoreline to move through the drift cell. What's interesting, federal partnership with the they do dredging open for navigation. Dredge material for navigation moved something disposed of and then placing that along the beach. So we're still in the process of working that out since I in the project. So part of that is looking at an experimental pilot project. We're not saying that projects, but we think that it might have good throughout of our railroad that would be a great way to move forward. Partnered up with the university and our local beach watcher group volunteers to do fairly extensive habitat before restoration to look at the habitat all what changes might we compare before, and we have a grant to do this and be able to be compared to all of Puget Sound and in fact in the university. And this citizen monitoring data be able to research used around the world. So monitoring that we do surveys, and this is sort of an example. Railroad track at a low, see the mussels you can find, and so one of the projects take winnow them to look for forage fish. This has been a great since I've gone. Our local citizens do and to be part of that we can citizens to help. So I do think that was my last slide. Thank you for listening and thank you for having me here. I'll be around.